Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. So we are building in Moonwood Mill on this 30 by 30 lot, and today we are creating 4 separate townhouses for 4 of the occults in The Sims 4, specifically vampires, mermaids, werewolves and spellcasters. I'm so excited to be able to share these with you all. Now, just as a small disclaimer before we get too far into the video, this is version 1 of this build. It is currently available to download from the gallery and also from the description box below with the tray files from SimFile Share. The reason I'm saying that this is version 1 is because these houses are completely floor planned. They are partially furnished, and when I say partially furnished, I mean that the kitchens are sorted somewhat apart from clutter and all the bathrooms are done. They're all floor planned and everything like that. But what I decided to do, I put a poll up on my community tab on YouTube earlier on today, and the majority vote was to split this build into 2 videos. So this is video 1 and video 2 will be us completely furnishing all of the houses. I'm hoping that makes sense. So version 2 of these houses will be available to download from the gallery, I would say within the next week or so, depending on how everything goes, but that's my aim. Just wanted to make that disclaimer before we get too far into the video. But the first house that we do work on is the house for the vampires. I went incredibly stereotypical with these houses, I'm not gonna lie. When I shared these over on Twitter or X, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people were like, oh, you went really stereotypical with these, didn't you? And I'm like, yes, it's The Sims. Of course I did. It made it much easier for me as a creator to get across all of these different styles, and it just allowed for this stark contrast between all the houses as well. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that it looks so fantastic is because they are so incredibly different to one another. So vampire house exterior done. This is the house for the mermaids. Very stereotypical yet again. I used a lot of items from, of course, the Island Living pack, which is of course the pack that the mermaids came with. So I think I went with like an orange, blue and pink colour scheme, like a teal. Probably more of like a teal colour, which is just like, no, maybe it's not teal, maybe this is blue. Anyway, this is the colour that I decided to choose, which I thought worked really well with the colour of the roof as well. I was initially going to make the exterior orange, and I've just realised there are also pops of green in this as well, because I did use these windows from the Lovestruck expansion pack, believe it or not. I cannot believe that I used windows from the Lovestruck pack in the mermaid house. One would assume that I was going to use them from the Island Living pack, but I didn't want it to be too much of a beach house. Like, I wanted there to be like a beachy theme, but I didn't want it to be a beach house, if that makes sense. Now, where things get very interesting is when we start to do the landscaping in just a short while here. That's where things start to get very interesting, and trying to kind of make it flow, but also have those really clear differences between the houses. It was a little bit of a task, but sometimes I do like a challenge. Sometimes I like to step out of my comfort zone and actually do something that's going to challenge me. And this project, I'm going to be honest, when I first started it, didn't realise how much of a project it was going to be. It's definitely challenged me, and I think it's just going to keep challenging me the more I work on it, specifically with the interiors. I mean, obviously you'll see we do start the interiors. We definitely make a very clear plan with colour schemes and certain items and that we've chosen to use in certain packs and things like that. But yeah, this is gonna be a project. Not a bad thing at all. And I thought, with it being spooky season, because it is, okay, I don't care who tells me I'm wrong, I will not have it. I'm definitely in my spooky era. As soon as September hits for me, it's spooky season. Now, I haven't actually started putting up my Halloween decorations in my house yet. However, I have started with the autumnal builds on the channel. A couple of weeks ago, we did our first autumnal family home. I will pop a card in the right hand corner for you if you'd like to check that out. That is possibly one of my favourite houses that I've done in a long time. And then with the Occult Townhouses that we're working on today, I just thought, again, with the spooky vibe, it's kind of nice. I'll of course do a build in Forgotten Hollow. I seem to do that every year. Why break a tradition? And then just any ideas that you guys have in terms of builds this year. Of course, before we get on to like the festive builds, I'm not gonna say the C word right now. When I say this, I'll put it on screen. I'll put the C word that I'm referring to on screen. I'm not gonna say that. I don't like saying it until we're in that moment, you know. But definitely in my spooky era. So yes, if you've got any ideas or any builds that you'd like to see me attempt on the channel, then please drop me some comments down below, because we all know that this is my favorite season and this is just where I'm happiest. Anyway, Mermaid house done. This is the house for the werewolves. Again, very stereotypical. That's going to be the last time I use that word, I promise. But yeah, this is for the werewolves. I wanted it to be a little bit of like a shack, you know. Which is why we've got the odd roof, which I think kind of works as well. And it just allowed me to, on the very top floor, it allowed me to, well, once we get into it, to create more of like a lofted space. So it's going to be pretty cool. I really like it. But yeah, definitely very shabby chic. Probably more shabby than chic. But I digress. Really like how this looks. And then for some reason, I start to pull out some items for the front of the house on the werewolves house that I haven't done on the mermaid or the vampire house. So for some reason, my brain was just like, oh, let's just start adding stuff. I can't remember if I just put a few things outside and then we move on to the spellcaster house and then I do all the landscaping. I'm pretty sure that's what happens, but we'll have to wait and see as this speed build goes along. But yeah, I kind of didn't like the big space that I'm currently working on here, so I was trying to kind of fill it with vines and things from the vampires pack, and then I was like, no, it's not looking right, I ended up putting one of the wall murals from the werewolves pack there, just to break up the space, because it was just looking incredibly like there's a space there. And for some reason my brain just wasn't accepting it, so I ended up putting that there. And then we just work on the back of the build very quickly. I believe the back of all these builds are pretty much identical to the front, if I'm not mistaken. And I do end up cutting out some footage actually from the back, because it felt very like repetitive, so I did cut out some of that footage just to save you all having to sit through it. But I do keep footage in where we're sort of planning out the gardens. Now the gardens are where it gets kind of interesting, because I used different fence pieces depending on which house I was working on, so like all the gardens are really next to each other, but the fences are completely different. So it was kind of fun to see all that come together. And then yeah, for some reason, like, look, I'm working on the landscaping for the werewolves house and I haven't done it for the rest of them. I don't know, maybe I was just thinking, because I'm gonna be honest, I did this in one, I did the exteriors in one sitting last week. I got all these done and I just got so excited. So obviously when I started landscaping the werewolf house, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, let's go landscape the mermaid house. And I got really excited. And then someone over on Twitter /X said, they were like, why have you put dead fish outside a mermaid's house? Like, mermaids can't eat fish. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. So it seemed a bit barbaric. So I decided to remove the fish. So they do get removed, but I don't do it on camera. So thank you very much for pointing that out to me. I didn't even think. So sometimes I just think, oh, what's going to look pretty? What's going to look aesthetically pleasing? And I wasn't thinking very clearly in that moment. So thank you very much for pointing it out. They do get removed. And then I do start landscaping the vampire house. I don't know why I want to call it the witch's house. This is not the witch's house. This is the vampire's house. So we do a little bit of landscaping here, of course, adding some gravestones as well, because obviously. And then I believe very shortly we move on to the spellcaster's house, which for the exterior vibe and everything, I think that's my favourite house of the four, followed closely by the vampire's house. But yes, you'll have to let me know which is your favourite in the comments down below. A lot of people were liking the spellcaster's house. A lot of people were liking the mermaid house as well, which surprised me, because that's probably my least favorite. If I had to choose, if I absolutely had to choose, I think that would be my least favorite. But yeah, this is when we start working on the spellcaster house. So it feels like it's been well, I could not even tell you the last time that I built a house for a spellcaster, so I really had to kind of put my thinking cap on for this one. I was like, okay, pointy roof, and then like the little, I don't know what you call them, like the towers that are part of the house, like these bits. Is that called a tower? I was like, yes, obviously I have to include that. And then the colour scheme as well. I think I end up going for like really warm woods. I use a lot of the wallpapers from Get Together, actually, funnily enough, which I thought was a bit strange. I didn't realise because I think Windenburg has a lot of Tudor houses in it, doesn't it? So I do use a lot of the wallpapers from the Get Together pack. But yeah, I do love how all of these houses look together. They're just like the complete contrast between them all. I think they look fantastic next to each other, and I'm so glad that I did this. I know that probably to give myself less stress, I could have definitely just done like maybe 2, 3 at a push, but for some reason I was like, nah, let's do 4. Like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. So clearly I was just like, okay, yeah, let's just stress myself out a little bit. I do end up removing some of these windows, by the way, because this was looking a little bit too busy. So a lot of the windows kind of are staggered. So some are on the side, some are on the front, and then some are on the back. And they're all different levels as well, because I have noticed that particularly with like, I would class this as more of like an enchanted mythical kind of house, and they don't necessarily have to make sense. And I suppose that's the beauty with occult houses as well. They don't have to make full sense. So I do think it allows you to get like a little bit more loose with the designs and just be completely like free, you know, from, I don't know if I'm making any sense. You don't have to think that it has to look realistic, because they're occult houses, you know, occults don't exist in real life, so their houses in The Sims can be more like, they can be whatever you want them to be. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm so not good at explaining things anyway. So this is what I'm talking about with like the staggered windows. I think these are just from base game as well, but I thought they worked really well. And then we do add some like climbing ivy to this. I think this is from the vampires pack, believe it or not, this climbing ivy. And then we do pair it with the wisteria from cottage living, which I think looks really good. It's been a while since I've used the wisteria, or it feels like it's been a while anyway. I remember when that first came out, and everyone was, including me, was so excited to have wisteria. And does anyone else remember that it used to clip really badly into the walls? That was the most annoying glitch ever, because I remember when I did my first cottage build with that pack, like looking back now, it was a terrible build. It was terrible. I don't even know why I shared it on the channel, so if you fancy a laugh and a bit of a giggle, then go try find it. But anyway, I remember I put all this wisteria on the outside, and then when I got onto the interior, I was like, what are all these bits clipping in? And then it clicked. I was like, it's the wisteria, and I was so upset. I was like, how can you not play test something like that? Thankfully now, I believe it's fixed. I wasn't having too many issues with the wisteria on the inside of this house. I did notice that some bits were clipping in ever so slightly, but I just got over it. But it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Trust me. So then we just start adding some more details to this house. I wanted this to be probably the busiest house of them all. And then what's really fun is I end up going into the debug menu from Realm of Magic. I had to have a think there, from the Realm of Magic pack, and I pull out, I don't know what they're classed as, but they're like the balls of light that come in, I think like a purpley pink colour and then a gold colour. And I added them onto the front of the house just to give it this, I don't know, just fairy tale-esque spellcaster vibe. You know, maybe they've cast some spells outside and they've got stuck. I don't know. I just work here, okay? But yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking of, and it just took the house, I think, to that next level. And I'm thinking now, did I include that in the footage? I'm not sure if I did. Oh yeah, and then I ended up pulling out some terrain paint. So each terrain paint is different for each house as well, which I thought was kind of nice. But this does change slightly, because when I loaded back into these houses this morning, the terrain paint had disappeared. I thought that glitch had been fixed, genuinely, because I haven't come across it for quite some time, and it hasn't been fixed at all. So I was like, oh, really? Like, do they realise how long it takes to put terrain paint down? Really? Anyway, so this is the back of the houses, obviously, as you can see, and this is where like the fences are really quite interesting. So as you can see, they're just completely different, but each one, I believe, fits in with the house that it's attached to. I just think it looks fantastic. I genuinely do. Oh yeah, look, did you see the little balls of light? I did not include that footage for some reason. Do apologise. But yeah, they are from the debug menu in Realm of Magic if you are curious. So it doesn't take me long to kind of work out the back gardens, because I thought, well, I could just place some items down, get like the general vibe going, and then of course when we start decorating the houses fully, then we can focus a little bit more on the back gardens themselves. I hope that works for you all. That's what I've done. So but yeah, we do each house, and basically all I do is I just grab the landscaping from the front, move it to the back, and I don't necessarily replicate it, but I just kind of make it look like it flows and it matches, you know. But yeah, I did do a lot of landscaping on the side of the vampire house, as well as a lot of landscaping on the side of the spellcaster's house as well, because I just wanted the lot to kind of fit really nicely within Moonwood Mill. Of course, if you don't really agree or like the fact that it's in Moonwood Mill, then please feel free to move it into whatever world you like. I just left it here, decided to build it here because I think this world has this kind of fairy tale storybook feel to it, and so I just thought each of these houses kind of fits in with it anyway. But yeah, please feel free to move it wherever you wish. And then now we start working on floor planning each of the houses. So we do start working on the vampire house first, just working from left to right because it just felt right to do in my brain. So yeah, each house has 3 floors. So that's another reason that I decided to decorate these in a separate video, because as you can imagine, and I would assume appreciate, it's going to take me some time to furnish these fully, like with all the clutter, all the character that I'm going to want to add to these, and just yeah. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to put up 2 versions on the gallery so that you guys can decide, you know, how you'd like to play. You guys might be much better at decorating than I am, and you might, you know, have like your own spin to put on it, and that's absolutely fine. And then there's other people that wouldn't really know where to start with this, and then they're the people that will be able to download the fully decorated version. So I was trying to keep everybody happy with it, and also trying not to overwhelm myself at the same time. So yeah, you can see here we've gone for a very dark colour scheme with this. We do have a living room, kitchen, dining, and then a full bathroom on this ground floor, which I think works very, very well. I do use a lot of items from Vampires, of course, and Realm of Magic came in quite handy with a few bits and bobs in this particular house, so I thought that worked quite well. I'm trying to think which pack the flooring came from, and for some reason I can't. I'm sure someone will tell me. I am sure someone will tell me. But these counters are from Vampires, and the archway is from Growing Together. I adore that archway. I would typically use that in more of like a standard suburban family home, so it was quite nice to see that it's versatile enough for me to use in a vampire house as well. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, we do use that archway there, which I think looks fantastic. And then, oh no, hold on. Do these counters come from Vampires or from Realm of Magic? I have a sneaky suspicion that these counters, I don't know either. They're either from Vampires or Realm of Magic, and I noticed that these counters do not have a matching cabinet, which really annoys me when they do that, because it's like, hello, we need matching cabinets. So I end up using ones from base game, which was fine. They look okay, but yeah, I was a bit aggrieved at that. Anyway, so this is well, technically the first floor, because we've still got ground floor, first floor, second floor. This is also a full bathroom, so I do go a little bit nuts on the clutter in here, I'm going to be honest. I was just feeling the vibe. What can I say? I was feeling the vibe, I was going with the flow, and then we just finished the bathroom on the very top floor as well. So this does have 3 bathrooms. I'm trying to work out how many bedrooms it has. 1, 2. Does it have 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms? See? These houses are big. Okay, they are very big houses. I have my work cut out. Whew, I'm going to need some coffee for that, I think, before I begin. But yeah, I do add some different clutter to this bathroom though, because I didn't want all the bathrooms to be exactly identical. I talk about this on my channel quite a bit with my bathrooms. I tend to keep them samey, but not exact replicas of one another, because I just don't think that's very realistic. Talking about realistic builds, and then me saying a few minutes ago, it's good with occult houses because you don't have to go for realism. But yeah, and also for you guys watching, it's much better to watch different rooms be created and decorated, and also playing in it too. I can't imagine it'd be very fun if each of the bathrooms were exactly the same. Anyway, yes, now we have moved on to the Mermaid's house. Now, I do quite like the vibe of this house, I'm not going to lie, because it's been such a long time since I've done like a beach themed house on the channel. This felt really refreshing to put together. So I do really like this. It took me a little bit of time to kind of get to grips with everything, and it was really difficult to go from vampire brain to mermaid brain. Then mermaid to werewolf, and then werewolf to spellcaster. I did struggle a little bit, although what I have realised as well is that, of course, if I want to make any changes when I do start furnishing these properly, of course I'm able to do that. If for some reason there's a wallpaper that I'm not particularly fond of, I can change it. I can do whatever I like, or one of the rooms just isn't working for me, I can do whatever I want. So these are mainly placeholder items, but I just wanted to get the vibe across. And I think in this house there's only 2 bathrooms. I think I wanted to try and make the floor plans a little bit different from one another as well, although they're quite similar. But the Spellcaster one is completely different from the other 3. It's just completely different. Those towers just added that little bit of, didn't quite know what to do, so it definitely put a different spin on it. But yeah, love these counters in this kitchen. I think they look wonderful. I think they're from the Country Kitchen kit, I believe. Just went with like a blue and yellow theme, and then we do furnish we do furnish the downstairs bathroom. This is not a full bathroom technically because there isn't a bath in here, but that's okay. I wanted to add pops of bright colours in here, and I wanted to kind of add like a beachy theme, so I do end up adding this like little, what is that called? Life ring? What's it called? Please, someone. Whatever, it's from Island Living, so I just wanted to add that in here. And then of course this little floral rug from Seasons, I was like, that's so cute, I've got to add that in here. This is going to be like a tropical cutesy house. I can already feel the vibes. Because what's this? Sorry, let me start again. What this has allowed me to do as well is when I do start furnishing these houses, I've already got the general vibe going on, so I do feel like I'll be able to just flow into it, and it'll be a little bit easier rather than just going in with bare walls and bare floors and like no floor plan. There's no colour scheme set out. I feel like I've saved myself a job. Yes I do. This is the bathroom on the first floor, isn't it? I am thinking I don't think that there's a bathroom on the upper floor, although I could be proved wrong in just a moment. But yes, so again, just trying to use some of the same items but going for a different layout in here as well, because this is a bigger bathroom compared to the one on the ground floor. There's some candles in here, there's some the vibes in here are just immaculate. I love this tropical themed bathroom. I really do. But yeah, I did use this rug again, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm pretty sure I use it in all the bathrooms, I'm gonna be honest. Oh, is this 3 bathrooms? I genuinely can't remember. I'm gonna go with no. I think this is just a 2 bathroom house. But anyway, then we move on to the werewolf house. Now this I think was the most fun to put together out of the 3 for the interior, and I have a very funny feeling that this is going to be the house that I love decorating the most out of the 3. I've just got this feeling. I know when the werewolves pack came out, I did so many builds because I love working on like more grungy run down homes, and then of course with it being like a werewolf's house, you can do that. You really can do that. So using this fireplace from Cottage Living, I thought that worked quite well because it had like this rustic vibe that we were kind of going for, and it just seemed to fit the bill. I was initially going to be using, because I think we got 2 fireplaces with Cottage Living, I know we got spoilt. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use the other one in the Spellcaster's house, and I've just realised now that I have not placed a fireplace in the Spellcaster's house as of yet. I think because in that house the living room is quite a bit smaller, but we'll talk about that when we move on to that house. But yeah, the kitchen, I'll tell you what, a lot of items from Horse Ranch came in really, really handy with this house, because a lot of the items from Horse Ranch are kind of worn. Like the woods look worn and weathered, and it just worked so well. This bathtub is from Horse Ranch and it looks so good. But then with this downstairs bathroom, I went kind of, I don't want to say I went nuts with the decorations, but I did pull out quite a few items from, of course, the Werewolves pack, because duh. And I was like, I just wanted it to look kind of like, I don't know, like they've set up camp here. Like this used to be, no, it didn't used to be quite a nice house, really. Like, have we seen the exterior? What I was going to say was, like, it's a nice house and then they've kind of taken over and made it their own. I don't really know what the storyline is here, by the way. I don't know in what universe vampires, mermaids, werewolves and spellcasters would live directly next to each other on one lot, but I would absolutely love to hear your guys' storylines for this, because some of the storylines that I read on comments from you all are just out of this world. I don't know how your brains work. It's fantastic. Like, my brain cannot comprehend. My brain would never ever be able to come up with some of the things that you guys think of. So I can't wait. I can't wait for someone to just write this entire story about how all these occults have come to live next to one another. I'm so excited. Anyway, putting the final touches on this house, and then this bathroom on this first floor. It's a big one. I'm going to be honest. It is a big bathroom, but you know, it is what it is. I'm making the most of the space, okay? And I also feel like, because bathrooms are not really my favourite rooms to decorate in houses, I feel like because I've got all these out of the way, like I can just walk in and decorate the houses and feel completely fresh. So yes, do feel like I've done myself a favour there, I'm going to be honest. Then we move on to the Spellcaster's house. I did do a bit of rejigging with the placement of the windows in this house, and I really like the colour scheme that I've gone for so far, but again, that is subject to change depending on what I want to do with the interiors. Obviously, when we get to like the cluttering and actually organising all the rooms, etc. But yeah, I do really like how it turned out. I use this, I would class this as like herringbone flooring. I know there's like patterns in between. I think it's just from base game. I just thought it worked really, really well with the vibe of the house and for the spellcaster that I envisioned living here. So, but I am thinking that I might make the living room just one tile bigger. I'm just looking at this now. Just that the sim has a little bit more room in the living room, but I could put the kitchen as you walk in. That's also an option, but anyway, I digress. So yeah, then we just obviously do what we've been doing before. We go up to the upper floor, and then the first floor, and then the second floor, and just replicate all of the wallpaper and the flooring for now. And of course, sort out all the bathrooms as we have been doing previously with the other houses as well. And I ended up turning one of the towers into a bathroom as well, which I was quite surprised at, because I was thinking when I first started doing it, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to fit a bathroom in here. There is just no way on this earth. And I did. I ended up fitting it in just fine. But we do obviously place some of the kitchen items down. Kitchen items, yes. That definitely works. I think these counters are from, are they from, again, they're either from Vampires or Realm of Magic. I'm so sorry. I've got a funny feeling they're from Realm of Magic, but I'm probably wrong. Anyway, so that very quickly gets done, and then of course we do the downstairs bathroom, which is quite simply decorated, but I wanted it to have the right feel, so I did end up using some items from the Crystal Creations kit, specifically the rug on the floor, which I thought worked really well and tied the room kind of together. And then this is where I work out the bathroom in this little tower. I was like, I cannot believe this fits. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So if you would like to download version 1 of this house, it's available on the gallery right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from Sim File Share. But thank you so much everyone for joining me here today. I really do appreciate it. Look out for version 2 very soon. You all take care, and I will see you again next time. Bye.